Morning, everybody. You are back with the crew. Thanks for spending more time with me again today. Now, I have been doing a deep dive, and I mean deep. I set the ball rolling a couple of weeks back, more than that. And what this video really is about is the banking, the global network, and how that's all going to work with cryptocurrencies and how that infrastructure is built, but more it's a concept of why what's happening today is being reflected upon, in particular, Americans. Okay, so that's really what this video is about. I got into, I don't know who all I'm speaking with here, but if you're into the banking network of things, I'm talking about the BIS and the global markets and the way they plan on introducing CBDCs and the way they want to manipulate things and keep control of the currency system and the way it's being used. I really dug into that, well, a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And I thought, it's time to get back to that because I'm just hearing too many things that seem like they've progressed over the last year. And the show in Vegas really, I met with a few people that said, hey, I've got some content for you, and I've got some content for you, and hey, you might want to look at this. Anyway, mind-blowing information I've been receiving that's very basic, very general, but it's the players involved and where they're all going with it. So I've just started on the tip of this iceberg, and I'm really going to be working on it in my content. I'm really going to go, I think I'm going to do like an episode by episode deal in my Patreon, the Staple Crew Patreon channel you can go to if you decide that this sounds like something up your alley. I'm going to really kind of bring my son along because Brent's really good with the blockchain and how it all works and where the future of it's going. But this banking network that's been built already, this infrastructure with, the players such as, IBM and big players that are all connected. Corda and R3, all those groups, how it all intertwines is going to be many episodes. So I can't really do it here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do almost all of it in my Patreon. So, stick around for that. Today, I was going through this, and as many of you know, I'm a Forex trader, or was for many years. I just can't stare at the screen like I used to be able to. I went on with my life, and I enjoy more time in nature and kicking around the farm here and making videos with you guys. It hit me. I was going through this content all over again, and I started looking at the SEC case against, Ripple and what they're doing with Coinbase and what they did with Library, and my wife and I are going through that. Also, that's another shameless plug for my Patreon channels. My wife and I go through a show or two a week on the court case with Ripple in particular, but we're doing some stuff with Library and whatnot. Now it's Algorand, and all of these are getting Wells notices, and it just seems to all of us who are in crypto that they're pushing everybody out of the US. And yet we have China come out just last week and they say, oh, we wrote a white paper for, Web3 and AI and how it'll all be built on blockchain and the rest of it. And they've since come out and said, oh, well, it's not really all crypto. It's just sort of AI and it's going to be different things. Well, as we know, we talked about on this show a bunch of times, starting a day or two from now, June 1st, they're opening up Hong Kong again, I say, for crypto trading. And that's going to be the top, 7 or 8 coins. I'm going to get into all that too, not in this video. I don't want to make this one too long. But so when you start looking at, okay, Singapore's open for business, Japan's open for business, now Hong Kong's open for business. Xi Jinping's kicking the idea around again, right? He's at least going AI. Russia came out, their finance minister came out about a month ago. They're saying, hey, we'd be willing to accept for payment certain cryptos, and talk with us. We're open to it. Germany, as we know, already has open exchanges. The Swiss are already completely involved. We have Brazil. We have all of these players. I'm talking big players, and it's not just BRICS nations, okay? And where I'm going with this show is the UK. And many of you in England understand this. Your country has been open to this, a lot more open. In fact, I believe you've already ruled on this Ripple situation not being a security. To what degree, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I read about that like a year ago, but when we got it 2 years ago when we got into this case. But it's not important to what I'm going with here. I was listening to a video the other day, and a guy just triggered my thought, and I was digging through this stuff, and I'm reading about Corda and what they're doing and the way they're doing it. And then it just hit me. The light bulb went off. As a Forex trader, one of the things you know is way back in 1971, hang on a sec, guys. My throat's a mess. I've been out on the boat all weekend, so I don't know, ocean air. I don't know, it's good stuff. Okay, in 1971, we went off the gold standard, as everybody knows. But what happened that day was the U.S. was very paranoid because they're the world's monetary reserve, okay? So everybody knows that they need to keep this. But everybody knew the emperor didn't have any clothes, right? You're not backed by gold anymore. What are you guys doing over there? Well, it took him a year, I want to say at least a year, for Kissinger to work out his magic over there with the Saudis, and they backed it essentially by oil, okay? We know that old story. But what most of us don't understand is what was created right around 1972, 1973 was a little thing called the Forex Market. Well, who created that? That's correct. The City of London. If you know anything about the City of London, the people behind it, they're notorious for, shall we say, reapothecation? What they like to do is they like to create markets. Now, any of you who live in the UK, you understand this. You don't have a lot of natural resource. You don't have a lot of, you don't export a lot of things, right? Fine beer, good people, fantastic golfers, tennis players, but, they don't have a lot of exports. So they've always been a master, I shouldn't say that word, but they're very good at banking, global banking, industry banking, formation of corporation, interconnecting the world. They're a hub. So they lost the dollar reserve. The pound was no longer the reserve, the plant of the globe, to the U.S. But they thought to keep themselves relevant, they would stay on top of their banking traditions that they've had for hundreds of years. And they've done a fantastic job of this. What you understand about London is that everybody will communicate with London, right? The U.S. might have bitter problems with some other nations here and there, but everybody will pretty much, because it's English speaking country, so there's more people that transact in business in English than any other language, as we know. That's true with boating as well, by the way, and flights. It's all done internationally. It's done in English. A little tidbit fact for you there. So all of this came to me and I said, okay, so the UK created what? London bankers created the Forex market, the LBMA, okay, gold bullion, right? They traded in gold before everybody else did. They traded in derivatives, by the way, before everyone else. And why are all of these markets being formed there instead of being formed in New York City and Wall Street? Goes back to being the world's reserve currency. Because if you're the world's reserve currency, you don't want these derivatives, okay, or no better word than fake dollars being created, which is essentially what they did with the euro dollar. Now, I don't mean the euro dollar. I mean any dollars that are loaned outside of the US, okay, and leveraged are called euro dollars. They're leverage against the actual dollar. Well, who created that? London. Who created the Forex? London. Who created the derivatives? London. You see a pattern here? Who's the LBMA? London. When you start to understand this big picture, it's maybe, here's where the whole show gets to be into speculation, and I'll put the tinfoil hat on for you a minute. Maybe, just maybe, this was planned all along, because we know that the Euros, the WEF, and London are all pretty well connected. Rothschilds and some other names that you may know. They're all connected, correct? They all want to save themselves and keep themselves relevant. Well, okay. So maybe they've been coerced. No, maybe they coerced the US into saying, look, once again, we need your help. We need a little help from you guys, your legislation, your SEC. We need you to hammer this crypto thing so that we can build our markets up, because we have legislation, it's legal over here. We can pull this off. We can pull it off in China, all the countries I mentioned earlier that you're going to be able to trade your crypto in. Once that market gets to the point where it's bold enough, strong enough to hang out on its own, okay, you will then come in Wall Street and you'll pick up the scraps, and then you will dominate as you do because of the size and the girth of your market. If you believe in the tinfoil hat angle, that's all been planned. That's why they're coming after Ripple. That's why they're coming after Coinbase. That's why Ripple and Coinbase are scratching their head going, we better get out of Dodge. We need to go to London. This is probably where they're headed. Why do you think the biggest Goldman Sachs office ever was in London? Same thing, right? Okay, it's a safe haven. It's been created, if you will. Now, let's say that wasn't all planned, and I'm taking my tinfoil hat off now. Well, what's the opposite of that in my speculation of this entire show here? The opposite of that is the fact that they might just be going, again, I believe it was Churchill, who essentially the Americans will keep doing the wrong thing until they do the right thing. Paraphrasing. So it's just ignorance. Possibly. I don't know. But it could be that they'll figure it out quicker now than ever before by the mistakes in which they've made. You and I know that just two or three short years ago, maybe 4 maximum, if you were in crypto back then, we said to ourselves, Russia shut it down, China shut it down, even Hong Kong shut it down. Even South Korea shut it down. Like everybody, the main hubs of crypto shut it all down, and it was like we were ready to bust out in the US. Everybody in the United States was like, who was into crypto was like, this is a win for us. We can make this happen. This is going to be great. This is fantastic. What's happened over the last 3 years? Quite the opposite. We have politicians coming out and saying they're forming armies and committees against crypto. Hello? What? I mean, that was your window of opportunity to where you could have created, this is going to be tens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars going to this crypto market. And I'm not just talking about Ripple. I'm talking about all of them. I mean, all of them. Coinbase is going to be massive. It already is big, but just imagine Coinbase global. And by the way, they're not just for beginners. If you look into, they're already doing ETFs. They're doing all sorts of different stuff. And isn't that interesting? Why won't they give us a true ETF on Bitcoin, which is coin for coin, dollar for dollar? You hold the actual asset. No, it's all a derivative. It's all reapothecated. Again, more SEC corruption. So, you get the big picture where I'm going with this now? They're either A, dumb. Yeah, they're dumb about a lot of things. There's no question. Paranoid. Well, they are the world's, reserve currency, and it's diminishing, and it's getting beat up by the rest of the world, including BRICS nations mainly. And yeah, they could be worried about everybody going to, an alternate of US CBDC as a world global currency. So, or is it planned? It's one of those three. But it's intentional, in my opinion. This is not happening organically. If you follow my show, you probably already figured out, not much happens organically. All of this stuff is orchestrated at the top, in particular through Langley and three-letter agencies and all the rest of it. A lot of it comes out of London, and a lot of it comes out of other places around the world. This is a strategy. This is a banking network that is not willing to control the world for 1,000 years and just give it away in 2023. Why? They're not going to do that. Well, not without a fight. And you and I are going to have to find an alternative to their system, and that would be a sound money of some form. And I'm hoping we're getting there. It seems as if we are making strides, and we are getting closer than ever before. And I know it's because of great people like you on this channel that we're making that happen. Just a concept I have. It's one of the three. Tell me which one. Are you a 1? Are you a 2? Are they dumb? Are they paranoid? Or are they planning from the top and the whole thing's meant to push it outside of the US and then come back in? Let's remember, things are going to happen faster than they've ever happened before. Look at the bank runs that have happened in the last, say a month ago. Those bank runs would have taken 6-8 months before. Now they take 6-8 days. So this bank run and this, or I will say exodus from the United States of the crypto world headed to other countries can happen like that, overnight. Just boom. And I believe they're going to push it out. And remember, when I talk about the 4 steps, right? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they go to war with you, then you win. We're at war, guys, and that's what's happening right now. All right, it's good being back with you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I will be back with you soon. I'm out. Well, what do you say about all this? I mean, is it just crazy? There's dogs sleeping with cats. These politicians have lost their minds. Their minds. They're madmen. I just want to ask any one of you, when was the last time you heard the U.S. government, or any government for that matter, say anything that made sense for you or me? Nope. Nope. They haven't done it. Everything's been for them. That can't last. That won't end well. Nope.